Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It's markets in the morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, the stock market, the altcoin market, Bitcoin price chart, gold, silver, metals, dollar. And the news that's going on out there as we get ready to kick off our day today. So welcome, everybody. Today, normally these markets in the morning go about 1 hour. Today, this one actually is going to be pretty quick because I have some stuff going on here on the back end. And we're just going to kind of get through it quickly, get through the chat, and get on with our day on this Tuesday. So today's will be just a little bit more brief than usual. Typically about an hour. We'll see if we get through this one in about 20 or 30 minutes today, just because I have stuff going on. Looking over here at Bitcoin, sitting above $26,000 still. No real change going on here from what we've seen from the last couple of days after our 5 minutes of absolute insanity liquidation that took place last week. There's a couple things we could talk about with Bitcoin when it comes to price structure. As we know, we followed very similar price behavior from 2018 here as we went down into our plunge. The things that were similar about this at that time were the 200-day moving average as we went back and hit it. That's also what we did in 2018. Grinding our way down. We've actually bounced off the 200-day moving average in here already, but hey, you know what? Bitcoin has dipped below. So long as we're still hovering here in this sideways range, seems that there's still a little bit of hope there for Bitcoin. But for me, like I've been talking about in the last 2 weeks, really keeping an eye here on if we're going to be able to maintain this support level here at about 24/7. At this point, we kind of keep bouncing back and forth between this, something we've been talking about for a couple of years at this point. Trying to decide, is this what the game is at play here with Bitcoin currently right now? As you know, we've compared this to Ethereum back in 2018. This isn't fear mongering. This is something we've been talking about. We even talked about prior to last Thursday's plunge. We talked about it before that even came in here. So it's not fear mongering. It's more of just like, okay, are we starting to get more valid for something like that? And really just waiting for Bitcoin to give us a little bit of a sign in here. As we do know, and like I mentioned in yesterday's video, throughout all of 2023, each time we've had these big pull downs happening here that really terrify the market and the leverage gets swiped out of the market, it really has turned back up really quickly afterwards. So just kind of waiting around real quick to see how this behaves in here. Does this thing turn its way back up quickly? Or do we really just kind of waddle in here and just show more weakness emerging here for Bitcoin? It's kind of what we're all waiting on right now. There's not a big answer coming from Bitcoin as of yet, but we can keep waiting on it. Of course, the thing we are paying attention to there is the stock market, the United States stock market, which the Dow Jones opening just now down 0.06%, almost flat. Let's go over to this one. There you go. 0.06%, almost flat. The NASDAQ is up 90 points, which is 0.61%, and the S&P is up 0.34%. Excuse me, hold on. Yes, 0.34%. Leaders this morning so far are Tesla and NVIDIA. I do believe NVIDIA just set a new all-time high. I know a lot of people were shorting NVIDIA during that last pullback. New all-time high for NVIDIA. Coinbase is up this morning. That's a good sign to see. I was trying to do some comparisons yesterday between Coinbase and crypto. They do go hand in hand. Sometimes Coinbase can be a little bit of a leader to give a little clue on what's coming next for crypto. It's been kind of funny if you look at Coinbase and how it's been behaving in here. It's actually been drawing down even before this liquidation ever happened. It's as if Coinbase could have given us the signal before everything happened there on Thursday. So might be something to kind of pay attention to. Just we'll keep our eyes on Coinbase because that really seemed to kind of give us the clue ahead of time of what was happening in there. But that is a support level for Coinbase. So it's not like something major broke happened there. That actually is a good support level for people who have been around since like the 22.5 cent days for XRP. That'd be like that similar price level right in there. All right, moving on. Gold, not a whole lot. This morning, gold actually was up. It did climb back up above 1900. But has since dipped back down. We've seen some volatility around the dollar. We'll take a look at that. That's probably the contributor to that. But still, nothing really big screaming over here with gold as of yet. Bitcoin looks like it's starting to stabilize now, still above $26,000 now that the markets are opened. Looking over at XRP, covered this the last couple of days, completed structure in here. Now, sorry, hit the mic. Now just in forms of accumulation. So we'll just kind of watch this thing progress as time goes on. Otherwise, there won't be too much to say about XRP at this time until we can get ourselves set up with something to go ripping and roaring. Or if we did just suddenly see a breakout happen in here that took us, say, above 66 cents, then we'd really have something to start talking about. Till then, we're just in accumulation, waiting for either a very clear completed accumulation to take place here or some type of breakout. Otherwise, we're just kind of dancing in here, which is what we're doing over here with Bitcoin, right? So get some moves in Bitcoin. We'll probably see some moves over there in XRP at the same time. Dollar has been volatile this morning. Taking a look here, I was comparing gasoline futures to the dollar. Let's see, it's still holding beneath the resistance level that it's been stuck under for the last week, really. But really getting back up to that resistance right in there. So still, it's a waiting game on there. Again, if the dollar gets through here, it's probably buying itself a ticket up into the upper bound of this range near about 105.5. We'll see if it ends up getting there. But one of the things with Bitcoin too is just playing around with this. We've been talking all about this stuff and how deep we are into a structure like that, and just to kind of understand how deep we are into this. And I don't think people do realize just how much it is, because people really kind of focus on this top. I think it's a lot easier to focus on this and say this is the top, even though obviously all price behavior and all indicators represented that the actual literal top of the market was back in here. To kind of see how deep we are and prolonged into here we are. We're already like past C19 happening in here for Bitcoin. If for those who believe in the 4-year cycles, in which people don't really realize, last year that was a 3-year and 4-month cycle that took place in there. And one of the ways we can look at that too is by looking at, where are you? There you are. I've shown this before too, just to kind of give a visualization of how deep you are into this. If you're like, God, this lasts forever. There you go. Here you can look at Dogecoin, Ethereum Classic. You can look at XRP. Imagine this, if you don't realize it, for XRP holders who were here in 2018, you are like, imagine being in XRP in you jumped in maybe late 2017. Here you are, you've ridden through the 2018 bear market, you've ridden through the 2019 bear market. It's like you're 2 months beyond C19. Imagine that's how deep into this we are. For those who can reflect back on that, it'd be like being in May of 2020 at this point. Based on how long we've actually been in here right now. And I thought this was a cool visualization to take a look at and just kind of give an idea on it. But still, Bitcoin, based on, I really didn't plan on talking about this, but I've looked at it a couple of times. Just based on, the reason why this still is going to remain on the radar for a little while is that even if we were like in accumulation structures or recovery structures, let's say we were doing a crash, retrace, reaccumulation, just to even get a legitimate retrace coming in here. We don't have a legitimate retrace coming in here for Bitcoin just yet. Or like something that would be like at least a 50% retracement that has come in for Bitcoin. That's what I think of, like a legit retracement. If you look at like, let's do this just kind of so you can visualize how low Bitcoin is and how much it's struggling in here. Take it off of this. There we go. There we go. We've shown that this was this phase in here. We also, let me darken that up a little bit. There you go. Shows you how low we've gotten in here. How we're way below even recoveries from back in 2016. Let's go ahead and look at 2018. And we'll change the color to purple. There you go. If you were recovering, we hear so much about 4-year cycles, all that good stuff. If we were recovering at the same velocity, the average price for Bitcoin right now would be about $41,000. So, it's why we're going to kind of keep this on the radar until something just super surprises us to say, this looks like it can be thrown out the window. But as for Bitcoin, still, there we go. I think that the main thing that will be, here we go. You got the dollar really kind of shuffling up this morning. I think the main thing to keep an eye on this week is going to be that United States stock market. So you got the Dow only down 35 points. It's really nothing to run and tell mom about. The NASDAQ now kind of losing some of that decent sized jump that it did have this morning. Was up, I think even in pre-market, up almost 1%. So now up only about a 0.25%. The S&P is up 0.2%. So the S&P, what did we say it was earlier? 0.34%, right? So even the S&P is kind of pulling back now with the market opening, but the Dow is settling. Doesn't look like we have a clear direction yet as of the day. But we all know this is the level that just caused that liquidation event to happen over there in Bitcoin. So keep your eyes on this today until we can get ourselves a nice bounce out of here. I think a positive sign was that you saw Nvidia go set a new all-time high. So hopefully that is something. But gold is not giving us any signal that the world is falling or the world is ending just yet. Typically, we will see a flock if there is extreme fear happening in the market. That this is typically the place that people do run to. All right. Otherwise, is there much to really say today? Really, it's just Bitcoin hovering. A couple of things I've been looking at that I decided to show you guys in here as we wait to see this structure play out, right? This is not your Wyckoff accumulation happening in here, right? This is not crash, retrace, reaccumulation of like this, right? So we have to start figuring out, well, what is it, right? Typically, even in the most bearish scenarios, typically, you're going to get right there. It's typically what happens in the most bearish of scenarios, but we're having to kind of keep our eyes close on it just because structurally, we're really starting to emerge like this. And if we do start taking out those lows over there at 24/7 to keep our eyes on it. The thing that would be difficult about this, and I haven't figured out how we'd handle it moving forward on like just discussing it and combating it. Look how long that would drag on. That would drag on a long time. So what would still perpetuate throughout crypto? 12K or 4-year cycles are still in play. But what I just tried to show you is I tried to show the amount of time that elapsed between last ones and where we should be. Bitcoin is behind, right? Regardless of how you view it, Bitcoin is behind. And that's just something to take notice of. Even in 2018, 19, 2020's recovery or 2015, 16, 17's recovery, the average price on that recovery of 4-year cycles means right about now we should be around $41,000. So something is at play, and we're going to have to try to figure that out as we go on, because as you can obviously see, this is not the same as the bottom of 2018, and it's not the same of 2015 at this point. So what everyone is still going to continue to lean on is 4-year block reward halvings, 4-year cycles, and we're just going to do our best to try to see if we can solve the puzzle differently if something else emerges. As of right now, though, as we wait here after this 5 minutes of insanity, we still are just waiting for Bitcoin to give us a signal. So there's not much to say differently from yesterday than today as we sit here and theorize, will this floor hold? If this floor holds and we shoot up, then hey, we can breathe a sigh of relief, and then we can start really addressing the ideas of things rolling over on themselves and how that behaved back in 2018. But until then, it's really just waiting. Bitcoin, you gotta hold this thing, and then also for the United States stock market, hey, you gotta hold this thing too. Fortunately, I spend a lot of time studying this. You guys probably know it. I spend so much time on macro and focusing on macro. The good news is that I sit there and I have debates that you guys don't know. But I don't do it publicly on Twitter. I don't do it in private chats on Twitter. I do phone calls, man. And we sit there and we theorize everything on where the market is going, taking into the inflation narratives, deflation narratives. When does the Fed cut? What was it like in the Great Depression or into the Roaring 20s, right? What was the Fed doing as the bubble popped for the Great Depression, right? And knowing that they were actually raising rates. They were in a hiking cycle heading into the very top of 1929, and that they had even hiked one more time. And then just a couple of weeks later, that's when the big pop ended up taking place. But I sit here and we debate these charts, we debate these structures, and as of right now, if I had to lean percentage-wise, I'd put it more like 80% confidence that it's still going to keep on marching. The way that would immediately stop is if we see a big break take place literally at this level that we're at right now. Then I would start to change that very quickly. But the current structure that we have set up right now and the discussions that I have, it seems the most likely. And the fact that we're seeing some of this stuff go push for new highs today, like NVIDIA, you see Tesla pushing up today. These are good signs to see happening here at this support level. But the big thesis still is we're preparing for the big one to come after this. And I showed this in yesterday's video, if you guys had a chance to catch it, how insanely similar this distribution structure is from Bitcoin's distribution in 2021. If you guys had an opportunity to catch that video yesterday, this is your February, March, and April, and then your May Bitcoin from 2021. If you didn't get a chance to catch that, then that's your summer of 2021. There's your recovery. This would be a very typical bounce to have in here for a little bit more marching before then the sky comes down. The big question is, how will we behave in here? And I think one of the big questions and debates I have too is if we are doing something like this, right? If you're going to do something like this, you really think of two different scenarios that are going to happen in the cryptocurrency market, right? Like if you think of doom with Bitcoin, you go look throughout the history of all the cryptocurrency market, and it's very clear that Bitcoin has played a major role. So if Bitcoin goes down, does that mean the crumbling and the end of the cryptocurrency market? That's where the debate comes, where we've shown this with like Ethereum's super cycle. Has there now become a separation between what Bitcoin is and what Ethereum is, or what XRP is? Will this be an isolated event, right? So you have two things. One, it's just the end of Bitcoin, but there is this new advanced technology, this blockchain technology that's coming out, being implemented by banks and companies, and it's going to be used, and the technology is actually going to be implemented, whereas the whole store of value Bitcoin idea that is just going to kind of fade off. You have that where like this is a legitimate technology that's going to be implemented, right? But the idea of just a store of value coin isn't really going to do much, or it's all going down, right? All of it is going down. And so that's kind of where we're at right now on just kind of watching to see how these things go. Now, the thing that I've pointed to is I pointed to the safety trade index of dominance, right? You had Bitcoin, you had USDT, you had Ethereum, and USDC. Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC, USDT. I do believe those have peaked. So my bias is to say, well, I believe the Bitcoin dominance is going to fall. I do believe the Bitcoin dominance is going to fall. The question is, what will that look like for the altcoin market? And that's what we're waiting on. But I do sincerely believe Bitcoin dominance has peaked. So that provides a little bit of hope there that we may shift in this market away from just being about Bitcoin. But it's too early to really sit here and say that's the golden case, right? If the sky falls from the world and the whole Dow Jones Industrial Average goes plunging into no man's land, we'll all find out together. But man, this is really turning into a doom market today morning. That was not the point of doing this. But either way, yeah. Maybe those are the things that are going through my head. So it's all coming out. All right, there you go. That's Bitcoin. Still absolutely nothing happening here ever since the plunge that took place last week. XRP, keeping our eyes on it. Again, accumulation, unless there's some big breakout above 66 cents. This is going to be the base case for now, waiting on it to continue playing out, waiting for the stock market to be able to show some sign of strength moving out of there. DXY, right? Levels, right? Likely that 105.5 if it breaks through here. If it breaks through here, it's just so likely that it probably is going there. It's at its first resistance level. Get through the first one, it's likely going for more. But the thing is, with these types of structures, you can go look everywhere. We talked about this the whole time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rolls back up to wave 4 within wave 5. We waited all of 2023 to get down to the 99 to the 100. It pinpoint hits it right in the middle at 99.5. In these circumstances, which we count these all the time, and how they end up playing out, they go back, and they don't even go that high. They go back, and then what do? They ABC. So this would be the opportunity of the market to be able to run in that type of scenario right there. All right. XRP, Matic, there's nothing with Matic. Dogecoin, we showed all this. This is your 2020, 2018 through 2020 cryptocurrency market for those who were going through this for the first time. There you go. Get an idea of how it used to be. And then as for news, do we have any news? FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried's. Do we care about the news here on this channel? I don't. I think the big things that really matter are going to be, I don't even know. Does it even matter? The market is probably waiting. It's on a very critical level, right? So the Dow Jones is on this really critical level. And this week is the Fed's Jackson Hole, right? So looking to get the information to come out of them to see what they have to say in regards to that. Is that what the market is waiting for us to get our answer on top of here? There hasn't been anything super convincing of a bounce in there, except for, let's take a look over the S&P. S&P's got a decent sized bounce off of there. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's got an okay sized bounce, but the NASDAQ, of course, does it from much higher. If we're looking for narratives, I'm going to be thinking that's probably it. And that means everything in between is just kind of noise. But FTX Sam Bankman-Fried is back in court. Coinbase acquires stake in Circle, right? So Coinbase owns a stake in Circle. I believe they announced that USDC will be on 6 different blockchains. Everybody's speculating and fighting over whose blockchain it should be on. Creating a sustainable blockchain ecosystem with public good staking. Shiba Inu plans Shibarium's public restart days after botched launch. I haven't been following that, but I guess there's something that going on there with Shiba Inu, and are they launching their own mainnet? Is that what's going on? As for Cointelegraph, Terra.money website frozen to prevent more phishing scams. Okay, I didn't even know that was a thing. Bitcoin is in a new bull cycle, metric that bottomed before 70% gains. All right, let's hear it. Bitcoin realized cap hodl waves signal the current bull market launch is a classic repeat of Bitcoin price history. Alpha Beta Soup, I see you there in the chat. Chime in. What's the deal? Look at him go. He said no. I knew this was on-chain stuff here. All right, Bitcoin realized cap hodl wave signaled that the current bull market launch is a classic repeat of Bitcoin price history. Right. Well, look, as a technical indicator guy too, these are things to look at from just technicals, right? But if we run out of steam, that's where an issue comes in here. You look at all past bottoms of Bitcoin. So like now everybody is screaming 12K again, right? Everybody's screaming 10K, 12K at this point. But too much time has elapsed for all of their scenarios, right? The 10 to 12Kers. You go set those new, if we go take out 15.5 and go to 12K, unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are thinking that's going to be bullish because it's now 85% as we did back in 2015 and as we did back in 2018. It's magic. That's just what we're going to do. We're going to go down and hit that, and that'll be the bottom there at 12K. It would be probably devastating for Bitcoin. We're way too far past that on time. If you went and saw how all bottoms have come in here for Bitcoin structurally, we've exhibited the behavior of what bottoms would do. Coming off the floor, right? Spending nearly a year on the floor, nearly a year on the floor on the stochastic RSI, nearly a year on the floor. We're coming out of it, right? That would be the start of the rampaging up again. No new lows. You go set a new low. What are you doing here? Right? You run out of steam here and you roll over. What are you doing in here? So just be careful on that narrative, because I do see it shifting that way. That 12, if we go set 12K now, that's okay. That's okay. It is not. So anyway, what you do, they're talking about hodl waves and saying, right, that has marked what has marked the bottom. All these signs have too for reversals, but should you set a new low, terrible stuff. All right, let's go look at their hodl waves. The Bitcoin metric that nailed the pit of the 2022 bear market says its uptrend is still intact. In an X post on August 22nd, creator of on-chain analytics platform Look Into Bitcoin shared some good news in the form of Bitcoin's realized cap hodl waves. Alpha Beta Soup, which is TXMZ. Have you heard of Look Into Bitcoin? While last week's 10% Bitcoin dip has upended some of the on-chain landscape, RHODL is one of the metrics taking a longer-term view of what remains a timely bull. Market. The metric takes existing... Okay. I mean, I get it. Right, so whatever these waves are, they've started moving up. He says, these kind of articles are so frustrating for me as an enthusiast of on-chain data. They are so misleading. That's what TXMC Alpha Beta Soup has to say about that, and he's the person I would respect the most when it comes to understanding on-chain data. So, hopium, right? Hopium? Okay. That's our news for on-chain data today, guys. It's all baloney. All right. Friend Tech denies report the database over 100K users was leaked. Mysterious Bitcoin wallet becomes third largest Bitcoin holder in 3 months. On-chain guys, have you guys figured out what that one is? Gold-backed BRICS currency will be very hard to deliver, Lynn Alden. Here's what happened in crypto today. I guess we don't even need your whole website, Cointelegraph. We can just get all the answers right there. Friend Tech generates over $1 million in fees in 24 hours, surpassing Uniswap and Bitcoin networks. Griffin Digital seeks out dismissal. Binance limits withdrawals in Europe, cites payment processor issues, and crypto users react to death of Shiba Inu behind viral memes. This is weird. This is one of those Mandela effect things. I thought that dog died like 3 years ago. The Shiba Inu dog. All right, looking over at broader markets today, the mainstream news for markets. Dick's Sporting Goods shares falls 20% as retailer slashes outlook over theft concerns. I don't buy that for 2 seconds. We're dealing with more theft than usual, and their stock price drops 20%. I would bet the reason it dropped 20% is because investors are calling baloney on that. No. You're blaming that you are dealing with more theft than anybody else. Macy's shares slide as retailer says consumers will be cautious about the rest of the year. I could see that. Stock futures are slightly higher after NASDAQ's best day in August. Really, that's what yesterday was, huh? Yesterday was the best day in August. That's cool. Yeah, well, coming off of some pretty bad days. So that's our best day in August, which wasn't anything compared to Thursday. So just so you guys all know, what a bizarre day right there. I don't remember that. Thursday, July 27th. You just tank 269 points, open up over 100 points up, and then close higher than the day before. That was a bizarre one. That was a bizarre one. All right, there you go. That's your news. Dick's Sporting Goods Stores is just dealing with unbelievable amounts of theft. Looking over here at Bloomberg, Microsoft pushes to get the Activision done with fresh UK offer. So I guess they're still trying to acquire Activision, right? Activision is World of Warcraft, right? Brandon Hammond said, I did enjoy the pushback on the BCB wildfire tweet. It made me smile. Are you talking about me posting it, or are you talking about all the pushback in the comments? Call of Duty. Oh, okay. Call of Duty. And Diablo 4. Okay. All right, that's our news today. Who's going to give Trump the biggest run for his money? 500,000 U.S. jobs at risk of vanishing in payroll revision. S&P joins Moody's in cutting U.S. banks outlook. Did we get any economic data today that was important? I didn't think that we did. Existing home sales down 2.2%. There was no forecast, though, month over month. Existing home sales sliding as they have been since 2020, downward. Hard to say what that means. Down. Expectations 4.15 million, actual 4.07 million. Trying to see if there's anything for tomorrow. Thirty-year mortgage rates. New home sales, crude oil, gasoline. Okay. Nothing too big to pertain to crypto, at least. All right. That's where we're at today. Bitcoin slipping slightly below $26,000 as this range does continue in here today. Waiting for an answer here, Bitcoin. Let's go. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the chat. Like I said at the very beginning of this thing today, guys, is that this is going to be a brief one. There's not a whole lot going on in markets today as we wait for Bitcoin. It's just holding the supports until we get a move away from these supports. It's just sitting here theorizing what comes next until we can get some type of structure to emerge here. Fortunately, that's pretty aggressive happening in there. Usually my guess is we're going to get some type of relief. The thing that we have to see is, are we going to get aggressive relief or meandering weak relief? And it's still just a waiting game for that to end up happening in here. So it's still just patience. But the dollar is shifting up today. It looks like the dollar could get its break today. So there you go. That, of course, will point over there to the stock market, but the stock market's still holding. Dow is only down 12 points. S&P's up 0.1%, and the NASDAQ is up 0.18%. So all the pre-market gains have been shifted and slid away as the morning has gotten going. But nothing significant happening here. Market's just trying to say, are we reversing off of here, going for the break? And we're all waiting. Let's get to Friday. Let's get to Jackson Hole. All right. Otherwise, again, with XRP, it's like accumulation until we get above 66. There's not going to be much to say, or until we can get a full accumulation schematic printed. So now we're just in the patient waiting game over here on XRP. Bitcoin back above $26,000 now. U.S. stock market still holding the same level. So it's going to be kind of a repeating moment here for us guys until something changes on the charts. We can try to run our mouths and say all these magical words that can come out of our mouths that we can. But if the prices just sit still, then they're just sitting still, and that's part of life. All right, let's go ahead and jump on into the chat. Hey, BCB, you used to line up the bottom of XRP Supercycle Fractal with the June 22nd bottom. We went to the top of the range 3 times and back down. Could the lawsuit news just be the 3rd time up and that we had to lows before breakout. No, because the rest of the market did it at the same time. Enough time elapsed, right? Same exact amount of time. What was it, 820 days versus 826 days? They both percentage-wise got down there at the same. They both went 85.5%, right? And it was standard accumulation. And then when we had a spring, you saw the spring happen throughout the rest of the market at the same time. So no, I wouldn't think so. Flagrantly obtuse. Is XRP at $10 a possibility still? Well, I think if you do the measurements based on the market cap, it's probably drifted into the higher nines now. I haven't done pretty much every month, right? You're going to end up getting more supply that comes onto the market. I think the inflation rate of XRP is right around 7% annually. And I think the last time we ran the numbers, which was about a month and a half ago, with the current circulating supply, if you did a full 4.236 extension on the market cap, it was still like $10.06. My guess is if we went through that whole motion right now, which I don't have time to do that this morning, but if we went through that whole thing right now, it'd probably land around 990 or something like that for a full extension if it does do it. Onto Krupik. Woke up early just so I could shout out Andy Philpott. There you go, Andy. What's up? How do we sign up for those debate theorizing phone calls? I was wondering if your confidence level has changed with this move. I'll take 80% confidence. Thanks for everything, BCB. Yeah, I mean, that can shift so fast, though, right? So it's like if we break here, that confidence immediately shifts way differently. As long as we're sitting on top of it, I can be optimistic about it because this is stuff that we normally do for these types of moves, which I showed in yesterday's video. For distribution, right? For distribution, you know, this whole phase here, this is super normal. With that preceding it, right? This would be very normal. But if we go take out here, that confidence starts really fading really fast. But as we sit on top of here, yeah. And so like, just so you understand, I was trying to explain this yesterday too. You got everybody who has their own theory of their market, their own thesis of the market, right? You're going to have the 4-year block reward having people who are on Magic, right? Who run on Magic 4 years. And then you're going to have other people who think that we're going to go set new all-time highs right now for Bitcoin. And then you have me, and there's other people like me too, who are like, look, it's all one big trade, right? It's all one big liquidity event. Stock market goes, Dow Jones goes, so does crypto, and they all just kind of move together at the same time. So my thesis of the market, like I've shown, is that the stock market is exceptionally high, in that we're approaching the 4.236 extension, and that we're doing distribution just like we're at the 4.236 extension, right? How ironic to have the same distribution happening here in an initial profit take as Bitcoin did above the 3.618 extension, right? So my thoughts are all like, we get up here, like this is the end of the market, and then who will survive after that moment, right? And I don't know, because we've never been through that before with the cryptocurrency market. And is the cryptocurrency market changing? Is it shifting? Is it not just about Bitcoin anymore? Is it going to be more like there's implementation of this blockchain technology into the way business is done, way banking is done, and what type of decentralized apps we'll have available on the internet, right? But I'm cautiously, constantly watching that, stock market roll over. And I know some people just don't care. Like, it is not part of their thesis that it matters. So listen to everybody's argument. Don't just listen to mine. But my argument is that there's concern about the stock market up in here on the big enough time frame. Even like my kids, right? Like I've got my kids' college education funds. I've got them in 2/3 money markets right now. And I'm planning on leaving them that way. And I'm not saying that's right for everybody, but that's just my thoughts on the whole thing. I'm thinking to myself, my kids, they got a while till they go to college. Will this thing roll over within 5 years? Probably. So I take all those thoughts into consideration. So I don't know. You're tuning into a guy who's trying to keep that in mind. When you watch this channel, you're tuning into a guy who is going to be trying to pick the top of the stock market and who has a grand thesis that the next crash is not recession. If you recall this, and most people didn't care to listen to this at the time. How many times in 2022 did you see the great financial crisis recession fractal get posted? And go through all my videos, and I said, that's not what we're going to do. It's not what we're going to do because my grand thesis is not recession. My grand thesis is we're doing like a topping structure to mark the end of all ends for quite some time. And we're trying to look for the signs to emerge to show us that can come, right? So you have to understand this was a ranging structure. How many people were using the end of a range as the peak top? But yeah, just remember that when you're tuning into this channel. We are going to be trying to time the top of the stock market here. Whereas many channels, many narratives in the Bitcoin world and in the crypto market say those don't matter. I argue we don't really know. In any historical context that we do have for the stock market has been pain so far. So this is a cautionary moment as we sit here right now. But like I said, 80% confidence we're holding. If that would change very quickly, should we break below here, as we just saw with Bitcoin, then that would change very quickly, very drastically. But as of right now, nothing to fret yet. And how do you sign up for debate and theorizing phone calls? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've thought about that, like, a way just to like schedule people to like chat and talk and stuff. Like setting like hour-long talks and stuff like that, where you like sign up for it and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know if people even want to do that. All right. Thank you very much, Matt. Sherry Smith, new member, welcome. Lakeside Crypto. Did XLM break out above and hold support on the XLM XRP chart? Let's take a look. There you go. Question is, so yeah, okay, so this is the level that it was holding for the last 5.5 years, right? 5.5 years, dips below. Question is that really just a break? Is that a breakout? Beyond my skill ability to call that a breakout or not. I don't know if I would. Is it above the level? Yes. Is it a breakout? I don't know. Capra says, why does this chart matter? I'm not even sure this chart does matter. The ones that I do like, though, are these ones. This is the altcoin market versus XRP. And I haven't had much time to be able to just like focus on like news, focus on charts, and focus on my own portfolio. But I'm having to go through it and make decisions here right now too, which maybe I'll finally have some time to be able to do that today. Are there any of these altcoins? Because, when FTX collapsed, I grabbed a bunch of stuff. I grabbed like Chainlink, I grabbed Solana, like Polkadot. What other ones? Some SHIB, right? Like, is is this the perfect opportunity for me? I'm not saying for you. I'm saying for me to go ahead and, with XRP's price being down now, to go ahead and shift that and say, F it. They're not showing any signs of strength. This is my shot to put it where I really want it. That's kind of my thinking. So I don't know if all of these versus XRP truly have too much of a meaning. The one that I do find to have value, though, is the one versus the 200-week moving average. Throughout all of history, there has never been a time where XRP has been able to exceed what the altcoin market is doing. And that's what's happening right in here. This is the altcoin market underperforming XRP underneath the 200-week moving average, which has never happened before through all of history. Let's take a look at total 3. There you go. How's others doing? Others is up a little bit today. There you go. There's others. So the back test underway, right? All right. Thank you, Lakeside Crypto. Baby Oscar Hernandez. Goo Gaga. Always good to see you, Baby Oscar Hernandez. Has D. Member 1 month. Is Wyckoff accumulation still in play for alts? Adam, etc. Almost set lower lows after spring. Did it set lower lows? Or did it almost? Because almost actually means it held. But let's see if it did set new lows. It did not. Right? Did it? Maybe it did. No, it did not. Right? No, it did. Right. Adam's one of those ones too. Right? There you go. I technically would still, but boy, dancing with not like the kind of strength that you kind of want to see on things like SHIB was actually looking pretty good too. Let's take a look at SHIB real fast. Then they did their little SHIBarium thing, and everything hit the fan for SHIB, right? So that's the kind of the strength we'd want to be seeing coming out of there for things like Atom, but clearly not. This is all the SHIBarium, and I don't really know the story of what happened with there. I think there was something where they lost, like, I'm pulling a number completely out of my backside, like 23,000 Ethereum or something like that. But yeah, Atom not, and then Atom, I think I saw it too. They're dealing with their own issues too. I think they had a problem too. You'd have to look into it. Something with a double spend or something with Atom. Peter says, hi, BCB. What are your thoughts on U.S. government bonds, the 10-year yield, closing in on returns at the same level as in 2007? What are your thoughts? So we can go take a look. I'm not a bond expert. I'm not an expert at anything, but I don't spend a tremendous amount on the 10-year yield either. So this is what we've been looking at in regards to the Fed's funds rate. Let's see if we can throw the 2-year on there too. How's the 2-year doing, right? Have we added the new one? Yeah, that's that one right there. So the 10-year has struggled to be able to catch up to the federal funds rate. I think the expectation would be for it to be able to catch up to the federal funds rate. As the Fed, as they were doing their hiking cycle, they were attempting to catch up to the federal funds rate. Once they were beyond the federal funds rate is once they really slowed down. And so they took their first jump past the 10-year and then have only done 25 cents and then pauses since to see if we're going to catch back up in here. You know, as the 10-year rises, that's going to typically correlate with 30-year mortgage rates. So could be heading all the way up there. It's sitting right at its last high that was set back there in October of 2022, so almost a year. Anything beyond that, like any type of info that I have to be like, oh yeah, if we hit 4.6%, it totally means everything is going to break and fall apart. I don't know that to be true. Definitely high. And so why are high yields concerning for markets, right? So the average return that people expect on their 401k is between 6 to 8%. But when there's a lot of volatility in there, what happens? People start getting worried about it. As these yields rise, it's a lot more alluring to just go throw your money into what is perceived as the safest investment, which are U.S. Treasuries. Right? So how much money will flood over there into Treasuries rather than going into the stock market? I think that's more of the way to kind of view it, is the higher these go, one, mortgage rates are going to rise, making it's going to tighten credit, right? There'll be less loans that'll be issued out as these rates continue to rise. Or it's just because demand falls, right? Demand is going to fall as interest rates get higher, which eventually will cause deflation in asset prices such as vehicles and homes. But the concern, of course, being equity markets at the same time, when you can just throw your money into simple, safe investments and get those returns that you're expecting with your 401ks, right? Even I own treasuries, right? So as we've been up here, as the markets have been up here over the last year, it's been really about like getting some diversification going. Like we're talking about top of the stock market, right? Things I've been starting to learn about is options. Haven't gotten too deep into them, but I do understand them. I've executed some profitably. Getting into treasuries, diversifying cash amongst multiple banks, because what happens in the event of a bank crumble? I don't know. FDIC insured, of course, but I don't know what would happen. So spreading it around, high interest savings accounts, treasuries. Of course, I've always had my gold and my silver, but I still stack it in the event of the utter crumble. But treasuries are certainly part of it now, right? They were something that 2 years ago, nobody in their right mind is buying treasuries. I'm buying treasuries. Why let your cash sit in a 0% interest account when it can go earn 5.4% in a 1 year, 5.3% in a 2 month, right? 5.31% in a 3 month. Those are high. These are things we haven't seen. Have we ever seen? When is the last time we saw it on the 1 year? We haven't seen this type of yield on the 1 year treasury bill in 23 years. So, this is drawing money likely out of markets, you would think. Daniel says, sir, would you hit that sell button in case we lose our Dow Jones support plus Bitcoin into the 24s? It's so scary. Thank you for your time and answer. I don't want to tell you what to do. You're going to have to do whatever you want to do. You're going to have to draw your thesis, right? What happens if it's a liquidation candle that is 5 minutes and it falls down to $5,000? Well, you know what? You got screwed. There's not a whole lot you could do in that case, right? So there's going to be people who will say it's going to liquidity chase. If it takes out that low, I'm selling. But usually we get some type of bounce. So then they're going to be all pissed off because they sold out right when it was low. Then it bounced up. If we went and dipped into the lows down in here for Bitcoin, I would start getting really concerned that this is the case. And I'd have to strongly consider selling some of my Bitcoin on a bounce. And then setting a stop loss above retracements. But if it goes for another liquidation candle and just goes plowing to the downside, there's just not it. I'll be caught, right? I'll be caught in the heat of it. That's for each person to decide on their own. Annie Philpott, gifted 5 blockchain backer memberships. Thank you, brother. And Pat, it didn't pop up on my screen, but I did see it over there. I saw the little bubble of it. Thank you, Pat. You did 10, brother. Appreciate it, man. Mr. Nobody, hi BCB. Check out the percent gain opportunity on a flow retrace. Do you expect coins that retrace to do it by price chart or by market cap? Definitely market cap. That was a phenomenon that we saw happen in 2021, right? Let's pull this up on the other chart because I just don't know. Hold on. Okay. We'll pull up. I don't own this coin. I don't even know what it does. I literally know nothing about it. Okay, this is flow. See if we can pull up the market cap. Let's take a look at what it's down from a particular date. Price is down, has gone as low as 89% down. Flow. We don't get that over here, so we're going to have to go over to CoinTrader Pro. There we go. This is why CoinTrader Pro is better when it comes to historical data too. As you could see over there on this chart, we starting here with Coinbase. We're starting back in May of 2022. Let's see where Binance is. Binance, they are in July of 2021 for the price fall. But we have data in here going back to February of 2021. Let's use this spot right here. October, down 90% since October. Is that what we had here too? When is this? October of 2021. Let's go to a different date. Let's go to August of 2022. Right? Yeah. Why are these charts so bizarrely different? What is the inflation rate of flow? I don't even know. Flow supply. No change in circulating supply in the last year and a half. So they've been pretty stable. Let me see what your question is. Your question is really just based on market cap or based on price chart. But what we definitely saw in 2021 was the market caps. Will that be the case? And so here, what we see too is that it seems like a lot of coins kind of took proactive measures to adjust their inflation rates to keep up with Ethereum, because that's going to be important, is those market caps and the inflation rates, and just kind of people realizing that. So you saw BNB has flipped to a negative 4.5% inflation rate, or it deflates at a rate of 4.5%. Whereas Ethereum's been at negative 0.8%, right? So it's deflating supply. for Ethereum. But even Tron did it too. They've gone to negative 2.68%. And then a lot at zero. And then, positively, you got Monero at 0.87%, Bitcoin at 1.76. That's the same as Bitcoin Cash. Cardano's at 3.51%, Doge 3.67%, Litecoin 3.73%. Who's still absurd? Who is silly? Let me see big names that are crazy. Filecoin 94%. Internet Computer, 82%. Hedera, still 51%. Sandbox, 50%. Avalanche, 22%. So really the number that kind of makes it so where it's not super impactful on the market cap is as close to zero as possible. But we did see behavior in the market react to market caps. So it's going to be something to pay attention to moving forward. Dang, this was supposed to be 30 minutes long. The OGs of markets in the morning know that keeping it short has historically failed. X Pantera Capital. Sorry, brother. He asked me to do a review of a coin that I don't know of. Also, this month it's already up 100%, so that's usually not a good sign on why it's going to be covered publicly. I can't cover it, brother. Sorry, man. Okay. That's where we're at, guys. It's a waiting game still over here. So, quaint. I hear clear. It says cover Algorand BCB. We've covered it plenty. Like, it was dealing with a lot of problems a long time ago. We covered it, tried to talk about it and say Algorand has issues. Yeah, and it's just continuing to have the issues, right? And then I'd ignore that. This has been in super decline. It was one of those ones that got labeled as a security back in here by the SEC back in April, I believe. And then we also showed the developer data was in massive decline. And anytime there's been developer data in massive decline, it's led to abandonment. We try to share that, how that happened with EOS. But still, it doesn't seem that people care. It's one of those things that when the dust all settles, you're going to look back and say, what happened? And it's like, well, it got labeled as a security by the SEC, and that was a big issue. And then the developer data showed that it was like one of the most abandoned coins, or abandoned developer abandonment out of all of them. Let me see if I have that up too. Do I have that? No. Let me see. Algorand is negative 63% full-time developers year over year, and negative 39% part-time year over year. That makes it one of the worst in regards to developer activity, like one of the literal worst. And that's not to FUD it, guys. That's just to tell you what the developers are doing. I'm cheering for everybody, man. That you picked the right one, that your thing's going to rock and be the showstopper. But what we've and I've tried to experience the times where I've gotten things wrong or didn't see things coming and tried to figure out what was it that was the issues in there. I mean, that was clearly an issue. Oh, PTW is here. What's up? Okay. Oscar says, hey, did I miss a Fibonacci Alfredo chart? Let's hit the like button. Pew, pew. Thank you, brother. Okay, guys. So that's it. It's Wednesday, my dude. So tomorrow, hopefully, we can have a positive day happen over there in the markets. We have something good to talk about tomorrow. Otherwise, we're still just stuck down here. As we finished last week, and I think that's just kind of like the state of where we're at. As we finished last week, Thursday was madness. Friday, it settled at the bottom. We opened up Monday. A little bit of green, nothing huge. Today, stock market, little bit of green, nothing huge. It's still like we're kind of like stuck here after the craziness of what happened last Thursday, and we've just been paused. And it's like, okay, let's go ahead and peel a Band-Aid. Let's go a direction here, and we just haven't done it at this point. So don't worry, this won't last forever. It'll get crazy again. Either we'll be hooting and hollering, or everybody's screaming, screaming doom. But we're still just stuck here waiting for the next thing to come. So keep your eyes on the stock market, that it holds. It looks like the dollar is getting its breakout. Not quite, but almost getting its breakout over here. We'll see if it's able to get through there today. Otherwise, we'll check in on it again tomorrow. I got some stuff I'm going to be able to work on. I have to work on today. We'll see if we're able to get a video out later this afternoon. Otherwise, guys, I want to thank you all so much for tuning into the channel. If you're looking for something to do today, of course, you can check out my videos over here on bcbacker.com. It's over 40 videos, over 11 hours of educational content on here. Teach you how to set up your own charts, do all your stuff, learn more about the historical context of the market and how it's behaved in the past. All with my beautiful, silky, smooth voice delivering it to you. Just imagine 11 hours of this. You could have that. Okay. That's it. I'm done. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you could, please like this live stream. Please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.